Wall Street is telling millions of investors to buy AI stocks, Nvidia, Microsoft, Amazon, Google. You've heard the story 1,000 times. But here's what almost nobody is talking about. While the world was obsessing over the same handful of AI companies, a completely different corner of the market quietly delivered some of the biggest gains of the entire AI boom. Not 20%, not 30%, in some cases more than 120%. And the most surprising part is that many investors have never even looked at it. In fact, if I ask the average investor to name the biggest opportunities created by artificial intelligence, they'd probably mention semiconductors, software, cloud computing, or robotics. Almost nobody would mention power grids. Almost nobody would mention copper. Almost nobody would mention electrical infrastructure or cybersecurity. Yet those industries may be sitting at the center of one of the largest wealth creation cycles of the next decade. The reason is simple. Most people are investing in AI as if it's a technology trend. The smartest investors are beginning to treat it like an infrastructure revolution. And that difference changes everything. Think about it this way. Every time someone uses ChatGPT, generates an AI image, analyzes data with machine learning, or interacts with an AI-powered application, something massive is happening behind the scenes. Thousands of servers are processing information. Data centers are consuming enormous amounts of electricity. Cooling systems are working non-stop. Networks are moving data around the world in milliseconds. Security systems are monitoring potential threats. The user sees a simple answer on a screen, but underneath that answer sits an enormous physical machine that most people never think about. That's where the real story begins. Because artificial intelligence doesn't run on hype, it runs on infrastructure. And infrastructure requires investment, massive investment. The kind of investment that can reshape entire industries. Right now, some of the largest technology companies in the world are spending billions of dollars building AI capabilities. New data centers are being constructed at record speed. Existing facilities are being expanded. Power consumption forecasts are being revised upward. Utility companies are preparing for increased demand. Industrial manufacturers are receiving larger orders. Energy providers are investing in future capacity. In other words, AI isn't creating demand for one product. It's creating demand for an entire ecosystem. This is exactly why many investors may be looking in the wrong place. History shows that during major technological revolutions, the most obvious winners aren't always the biggest winners. During the California gold rush, many fortunes weren't made by people digging for gold. They were made by the businesses supplying the tools, transportation, and infrastructure that made gold mining possible. During the rise of the internet, opportunities extended far beyond the companies building websites. During the smartphone revolution, value was created across entire supply chains. AI may be following the same pattern. The headlines focus on the companies creating artificial intelligence, but behind those headlines, another economy is being built. An economy powered by electricity, supported by infrastructure, supplied by raw materials, and protected by cybersecurity. Consider electricity alone. AI models require enormous computing resources, and computing resources require power. Every new data center increases demand for energy generation, transmission systems, cooling equipment, transformers, and grid upgrades. Without reliable electricity, artificial intelligence cannot scale. That's not an opinion, it's a physical reality. Then there's copper, one of the most overlooked pieces of the entire AI puzzle. Copper is found throughout the infrastructure supporting modern technology. It's inside power lines, networking systems, industrial equipment, server facilities, and data centers. As AI adoption grows, the need for physical infrastructure grows with it. And when infrastructure expands, demand for critical materials often follows. But the story doesn't stop there. As businesses become more dependent on AI systems, cybersecurity becomes increasingly important. Every connected device, automated process, and intelligent platform creates new opportunities for efficiency, but also new opportunities for attack. The more digital the world becomes, the greater the need for protection. That's why many cybersecurity experts believe the next decade could bring unprecedented demand for security solutions capable of defending increasingly complex systems. This is what makes the AI opportunity so much larger than most investors realize. It isn't just about software, it isn't just about semiconductors. It's about everything required to make artificial intelligence function in the real world. Power, infrastructure, materials, security, networking, manufacturing. Entire industries are being pulled into the orbit of this transformation. Of course, none of that means investing is easy. Infrastructure projects can face delays. Commodity prices can fluctuate dramatically. Economic conditions can change. Markets can remain irrational longer than investors expect. Some opportunities will succeed, while others disappoint. That's the reality of every major investment theme. But there's another reality that's equally important. The biggest opportunities are often discovered before they become obvious. Once everyone recognizes them, much of the upside has already been captured. That's why the most successful investors spend their time looking beyond the headlines. They ask second-order questions. Instead of asking which company benefits from AI, they ask what AI itself depends on. Instead of focusing on the products everyone can see, they focus on the systems nobody notices. And that's where things get interesting. Because while millions of investors continue chasing the same AI stocks, an entirely different story may be unfolding beneath the surface. A story about the infrastructure powering the next generation of technology. A story about industries most people overlook. A story about where the next wave of value creation could emerge. The AI revolution may have started with a handful of famous companies, but it won't end there. The real question isn't whether artificial intelligence will transform the economy. The real question is whether you're looking at the companies everyone is talking about, or the ecosystem quietly making the entire revolution possible.